We acknowledge that the land we meet on today is the land of the Ghana people, and we respect their spiritual relationship with their country.
We also acknowledge the Ghana people as the traditional custodians of the Adelaide region, and we respect that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Ghana people today.
Welcome to
Hello.
Mod TV. Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Ashton.
What is MOD, you might be thinking? MOD stands for the Museum of Discovery, and we are a future-focused museum that explores art, science, and innovation. We're usually based on the corner of North Terrace and the Morford Street Bridge in Adelaide, but right now we're coming to you live from our lounge rooms to yours.
Now, your next question might be, what is Mod TV Lounge? Well, Mod TV is the latest venture for Mod, and it's a live content streaming TV show that we're doing directly to your screens 4 days a week. Now, here at the Mod TV Lounge, we'll be engaging with themes of connection, well-being, and disruption, and we'll be looking deeper into our exhibits. We'll be hosting games, and we'll be doing much more.
Our current online exhibition at MOD is Life Interrupted, where we're exploring well-being and connection in a disrupted world. And today we're focusing on connection. To help us do that, we're pleased to welcome our moderators, Chealin Chhut and Phan.
So Chealin is a nursing student with a background in the fields of law and education and a deep passion for aviation. Chealin is also a loyal fan of Asian dramas and cuisines. And Laura is a researcher in training, exploring the link between fertility and gut bacteria. Laura is also a newfound fan of swing dancing and a long-term fan of games and cats, basically anything with whiskers. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome, Laura.
Hey, how's it going?
Laura.
Hi,
Good.
guys.
And it's Chealin. Hi, Chealin. Just a reminder to everyone watching, if you'd like to add a question or a comment to the show, just chuck it up in the Twitch chat, and we'll try and get to that. We'll try and work that into today's conversation. Thank you, you two, for joining us on Mod Lounge today, our Friday show where we talk about connection. The reason we've asked you to join us is because you've been playing the games that are part of our exhibit, Games in the Time of Corona, and we want to know more about your interaction with the exhibition. So perhaps both of you can answer this, but perhaps we'll go to Laura first. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what have you been doing and how long have you been gaming for?
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Laura. I'm also a moderator here at Mod. And yeah, I'm working on an awesome team at the moment on a project called Games in the Time of Corona. I've been gaming for a long time. My dad got me into it when I was a kid. He had his own computer and he used to play games a lot. And yeah, I just picked it up too. I think my first game might have been Windows Pinball on Windows 98. That's where it all started.
And Chealin, how have you been going lately? And how long have you been gaming for?
I started since I was little, just like Laura, but I'm quite loyal. I don't switch from one game to another much, so I'm not very experienced in all of the games compared to Laura. But still, I'm a loyal fan.
What's your favorite game? Like, what do you normally play?
So my most favorite was Harvest Moon, but I don't play that anymore. But yeah, I really enjoy farming and something that is relaxing.
Awesome. So for people who haven't been on our website, as part of Life Interrupted, we have a great exhibit called Games in the Time of Corona, which is the one that Laura and Chealin have been working on. So it's a range of games by independent game developers that Mod have curated to help us stay socially connected when we're physically distanced. I personally find it very exciting, this particular exhibit. So Laura, what has been the most interesting part of your interaction with this exhibit so far?
I think the most interesting thing is seeing the public perception of games change really quickly, since this whole pandemic began. I think before this, there was a very big bad reputation for games, and they'll turn your children into violent psychopaths and all of this stuff. And yeah, like they've always been reduced to being a waste of time and a waste of money and just go outside. That's basically been the narrative around it. But I think that's changed really quickly, which I find interesting. So you could kind of like split it between before coronavirus narrative and present coronavirus narrative, like VC, PC, and like now I've seen like a lot of articles recognize the good parts of games. Like they do have beneficial effects, especially for people struggling with like loneliness and boredom. And I think for a lot of us, those sorts of feelings have increased just being cooped indoors all the time. So yeah, that has been very interesting. I wasn't
Absolutely. I've noticed even on kind of mainstream news channels, they've often had segments on gaming, and they've talked about exactly that maybe this time last year they would have been talking about gaming and how it leads to violence, whereas now they're talking about gaming and how it can lead to social connection. It's been really cool watching that narrative change.
Yeah, and like you see it from publishers who've said the complete opposite thing about games than they're saying now. So it's cool that people are learning.
Absolutely. And what about for you, Chealin? What's been the most interesting part for you?
I absolutely agree with Laura. So when I was younger, my parents would say, don't play so much games. It will make your eyes, I don't know, you will wear glasses. And yeah, look at me now. I am wearing glasses. But as a little girl, I thought it was cool. You look smart. But yeah, so now I feel like people start to shift their behavior and understanding on games to a more positive way. They start to see it as a psychological or emotional well-being. I mean, something that help that stuff, like help your psychological and emotional well-being. So yeah.
Cool. And Chealin, what have you been enjoying the most about being part of this Games in the Time of Corona project?
I really like how spontaneous we are. So when we started the project, we had no idea what we're going to do. Like none of us knew what we're supposed to do. So yeah, it's very spontaneous and it's very fun in a way because we work together very well. So that's what I really enjoy.
Awesome. And how about you, Laura?
Yeah, same along the lines of Chealin. Like we've got a great team. Like we've got our little games team, but then we have our like wider team at Mod, and it's just been really great working with all these people. I mean, being so adaptable. It's great to see. And I'm also really enjoying that I'm getting back into multiplayer games now. So starting this project because we're streaming them. And I always used to like stay away from all. It's such a gamble quality of people that you'll come across online, and behind like a wall of anonymity, it's usually you're not getting like top-notch interactions in there. But I think the pandemic began, like it's hard for a lot of people, and I'm seeing a lot more like kindness and generosity in the community, and that's being reflected in the online space as well. So that's really nice.
That's so cool. I've really noticed that as well because I really love gaming, but I've always kind of steered away from the streaming and online things because I just had seen so much about trolls online, and it can be a really male-heavy space as well.
Oh yeah.
Whereas even through our Modcraft, which Sam and I will chat a bit about later as well, but that's kind of been my first experience of really gaming online, and the wholesome nature of the conversations and the type of people that are wanting to hang out has really gotten me excited about maybe this new phase of more inclusive gaming.
Yeah, I agree. That is a great insight, Ashton.
Thank you. Now, we've talked about the positive things, but we're also kind of keen to know what you found challenging maybe about starting this new project and working on a project as a team in isolation, I guess. Maybe, Laura, if you'd like to start us off.
Honestly, like the tech side of things, I'm not that tech savvy. So like I just expect to plug in a microphone and have it work. And a lot of the times it doesn't. It's just like, why aren't you working? And then it's just it's up to Google to save the day. So I kind of wish I was more like fluent in the world of technology, but it's a learning process and I'm having fun along the way. So it is a challenge, but it's not too bad.
Totally. And what about for you, Chealin? Have you had any particular challenges in this process?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Laura. I'm so bad at technology. And I remember last week when we were streaming our first game, we were trying to figure out how to make the audio sound work and stuff like that. So it was really a challenge. And also, since I haven't really played all the games before, I had to spend a lot of time figuring out how to play it. And I had to play every game so that I could catch up with the other team members.
It's nice to hear both of you talk about kind of a bit of a learning curve with tech, because I've felt much the same. I didn't even know what Zoom was a couple months ago, and now it's part of my daily life. And I'd never engaged with Twitch before we started doing Mod TV. So it's been a really interesting learning curve. We've actually just had a question come through on the Twitch chat. It's for you, Laura.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, someone's asking, do you think the new wholesomeness is because people are being more understanding, or do you think there are new kind of people playing right now?
That's such a good question.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of both. Yeah, I definitely think because we're in these crazy times and, we need kindness and community and to band together, and people are realizing that that's reflecting in all of our interactions in real life and online. But also, I think a lot of people that haven't played games, just haven't considered it, are realizing that it is a tool that they can use to stay connected to their friends and family or even make new connections. Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a good thing to think about.
That's right. And maybe to follow on from that, what would you both say to people who are looking to get involved, maybe for the first time or maybe revisiting gaming? Any tips or tricks? Maybe Laura first?
Yeah, I would say to anyone who's listening, jump online, make some new connections or, nurture the connections you already have in a new environment. And, online gaming is such a versatile platform. It's not just like shooter games. There really is something out there for everyone, and it doesn't matter if you haven't played games before, you've been playing a long time, or if you only like certain genres. There's something out there, and I would say really appreciate the huge collaborative art pieces that games are. They are full of design and animation, acting, voice acting, music, sound effects. There's so much to explore.
That is so true. I think that was the thing that got me most excited. I only started gaming a couple of years ago, and I had this real moment of going, oh my gosh, it's like watching a movie, but I get to decide what happens.
Yeah,
that was a real eye-opening moment for me.
Yeah. Because you can control how it goes, and you can, even if you finish the game, you can play it again and get something completely different out of it.
And Chealin, do you have any tips or tricks, or maybe you mentioned that you used to play? What was the game? You used to play one game heaps, and you don't play anymore. So maybe there's a little story there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I just started playing because I was bored, but I've learned that game is more than just to have fun, because it kind of tells you a story, and it's just, I don't know, I feel connected. So for example, you can start to go more in depth. For example, what does the game is trying to convey? So Harvest Moon is more like a farming, and it's similar to what we are going to play today, which is Stardew Valley. So it's it conveys a non-urbanized lifestyle. It's just an everyday farming lifestyle, but we can learn to enjoy our everyday life in a more fun way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
A really good way of looking at it. So you just mentioned then that we'll be looking at Stardew Valley today. And I know last week we looked at the game Don't Starve. So What's next? Maybe Laura will ask you. What's next for this project?
What's next for this project? Well, hopefully we'll be able to host sessions where visitors and anyone can just join in and play with each other, have a chat. We just need to work out the logistics of that, but that is definitely on our radar. Really excited about that one.
That's awesome. And Chealin, what are you excited about for the next few months?
Since it's quite, I don't know, we cannot really tell what's going to happen for now. But what I'm really excited about is hopefully we can have something new just like this. For example, a few months back, we wouldn't think gaming or anything like this online exhibition would happen at Mod. So yeah, that's what I'm very excited to see, how we can incorporate new things into our exhibition.
Absolutely. I feel much the same. It's so exciting. There's no way a couple of months ago we could have known that on Friday night we'd be having a chat about Stardew Valley. So it's very exciting to think what we might be talking about in a month or so. We've had another question come through on the chat, this one for Chealin.
Oh.
So the question is, why do you think people choose to play farming style games when they don't do that kind of thing in real life?
That's a good question. I think that's also the reason why they want to play it, because we don't really experience it in real life. We usually see it as a struggle. It's challenging, it's tiring. But in game, we don't really do anything. So we just control it. So it's more fun that way, which is why I also enjoy it. So it makes me feel like I should start to see those challenges in a more positive way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's perfect. And if I can ask a question about the curation, perhaps, of the games that we have linked on as part of the games in the time of Corona, I noticed in the write up for the game that we're talking about today, so Stardew Valley, it says. The community centre, once the town's most vibrant hub of activity, now lies in a shambles, but the valley seems full of opportunity. With a little dedication, you might be the one to restore Stardew Valley to greatness. And I feel like that's a really strong link to how we're all kind of perhaps feel involved in the redesign or rebirth of how our communities are going to be post-Corona. So I just wonder, if Chealin, you could talk a little bit to the curation of the games. How did you choose these games?
So we had a mixture of everything. For example, last week we played Don't Starve Together, which was more of a I don't know, scary in a way, because it's about death and stuff like that. But now we're playing something that is more chilled and laid back. So yeah, the reasons why is because we just want to make sure that everyone has all the taste of the games. If you like if you're like me, you don't really like something that is challenging, so Stardew Valley is for you. But if you like something that is more challenging and more accomplishing, then we also have a variety of games. And another reason, if as I mentioned earlier, because this conveys a more positivity in life. It's just something normal, but we don't really see it and enjoy it as much. So yeah, that's also one of the reasons why we want to choose this game.
That's
It's
really
interesting.
cool.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about the challenges. We've just had a comment come through on the chat from someone who says they confessed they started Stardew Valley, but then they felt like it was a bit too much hard work and they've retreated back to meaningless puzzle games, I guess. So I guess there are challenges for everybody, and it's nice but I guess they were introduced to Stardew Valley from this list. Maybe, Laura, do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the other games that were maybe considered in this list?
Yeah, we had like a survival section of a whole bunch of games, and there's a game called Rust on there, and it's very unforgiving. So Don't Starve Together is a lot more easy and casual. It's a lot more fun, I would say, whereas Rust is like you could spawn into a server and die straight away, and it's very frustrating. Some people's cup of tea. I mean, they like the challenge, but like, I just want to chill out, you know.
For people who are watching and maybe wondering about the list we're referring to, if you go to our website, mod.org.au, and click on Games in the Time of Corona, I've got the list up here now, and it looks super cool. Some of the games that are on there: Plague Inc. Evolved, Journey, Alto's Odyssey, Stardew Valley, which we're playing today, and Don't Starve Together, which played last week. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. That sounds really fun. Moon Hunters and Minecraft. So it's a really good mix that you've put together. Is your plan to keep playing one each week so that people can have a bit of an introduction to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just going to start off like we're doing now, different game every week. So it's kind of like a taster for everyone. And if it takes people's fancy, they can go purchase a copy. And with Plague Inc. especially, there is like an add-on part of the game where people can create their own scenarios where they can, you know, become a virus or a fungus and take over the world and kill everyone. That's your goal. But yeah, you can create different infection scenarios and share them with other people. They'll be able to play your creation. So that's a fun little thing as well.
Cool.
That sounds ridiculously topical right now. Yes. So well done for that one. And yeah, I think Ashton was just about to ask, but I might ask this of Chealin. If people are interested, where would you recommend they go for some more information?
So I believe we have that on our mod website. So if you're interested in the games that we have chosen for you, then you can check it out. We also have more information on what it is available on, and I believe the estimated price that it might cost you to buy or purchase that game.
That's great. And that picks up on something I wanted to ask, which was if someone's watching and they're new to gaming, is there a particular console you'd recommend or a good starting place for someone who maybe hasn't had much experience?
A good starting place is probably to download a platform called Steam. So that is on PC and Mac as well. I think Linux, I'm not sure. But that basically has a whole catalogue of games. There is thousands of games on there. And they, you know, they frequently have sales. They have a sale, you know, every time the season changes, every time there's a holiday. And there's like a big popular list, lots of reviews on there as well. So it's a really good place to start. I would recommend that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chealin and Laura. That was such a great chat. And we'll let you go get set up for Stardew Valley.
Perfect. Thanks so much. See you later.
See ya.
And so we will let we'll fill some time while Chealin and Laura are just getting the Mod TV Games stream going that we're going to cross to very shortly. But perhaps I could ask you a few questions, Ashton. A little birdie told me that that you were perhaps last year a little bit addicted to Stardew Valley. Do you want to tell us a bit about your Stardew Valley story?
I would love to. Stardew Valley took up a lot of my time last year, but I have no regrets. So basically, I'm quite new to gaming. So I never had gaming consoles as a kid. Definitely had parents who veered on the side of you shouldn't play a game, you should read a book. But hey, you can do both. But a couple years ago, I got a Nintendo Switch because in my other life as an actor, I was touring on the road a lot. And I was getting really bored of sitting in hotel rooms and watching really bad late night TV. I wanted something more to do. And so I got a Switch and started playing Stardew Valley. And oh my gosh, it is the most, well, I found it to be the most satisfying, addictive game. What did I love about it? I think some of the things were what Chealin was talking about the farming. Because, you know, I live in an apartment in the city, but I love gardening. And so Stardew Valley gave me this really excellent, you know, farming fix. But also because you're a farmer, you're following the seasons. And that was something really wholesome and nice. You picked up on, Sam, that part of the game is you decide whether you want to restore this community centre or not. And so there is this lovely aspect of community, and there are all these different people that live in the town that you can get to know. So I went pretty hardcore. I'm actually married in Stardew Valley. I have a lovely wife called Leah. She's a sculptor. We have 2 children. So I have quite a complex Stardew Valley life.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. And I totally get the wanting to fill in time at airports and in hotels. Also my job takes me there, and the amount of times that I've lost my ticket because my phone has died because I've been playing on my phone too much, and then it had to kind of battle to get on whatever type of transport I'm trying to get on next. Yes, and
it's
I
that
think
tricky thing that you were just picking up on with waiting at airports and things. Sometimes getting out a book, you're tired, and you like I love reading so much, but sometimes after a busy day of traveling or performing, you don't really feel like reading. And a game can kind of sit in that sweet spot of engaging with something, but also getting to switch off in a slightly different way.
Yeah, for sure. And I was just about the farming. There are so many farming games, and I guess that taps into a little bit into our Minecraft world, Modcraft, which is specifically kind of about growing a garden. It's inspired by one of our previous exhibitions, Biophilic Fantasies. And so, it's interesting about this kind of idea of virtual gardening as filling a hole for people that people have wanting to garden.
Totally. I think that's definitely a real thing. Like, even for me, the game that I'm currently obsessed with is Animal Crossing, which is very similar to Stardew Valley, actually. It functions in a similar way. Rather than running a farm, at the beginning of the game, you move to an island, and the whole game is about making this island beautiful and meeting people, and everyone's really kind, and you make a bunch of friends. And I think for me, the reason I've gotten so into that game in isolation is that I love being outside, and I'm not getting to do that as much as I normally would. And so getting to turn on my console and be in this beautiful island oasis and getting to meet new people, which, we're not doing much at the moment either. I think in terms of biophilia, getting to sit in a game that has a beautiful ocean and palm trees, and you get to pick peaches and chop down wood, it's definitely tapping into our human need to be surrounded by nature.
Yeah,
Sam,
it's going to be real. Oh, yes, yes.
no, I just wanted to ask you, I've been wondering, when you mentioned gaming on your phone, what games do you play on your phone?
Oh no, I'm just Angry Birds and all the variants of Angry
Awesome.
Birds. You have quite basic, yeah, but
No, that
fills the
is
time.
absolutely. Well, yeah, I think I love Angry Birds, and I think those kind of games are also great. Like, one of my other favorite games is Tetris. Can't go past it.
That's all right. And I think I was gonna ask, how was that? So touring gardening. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think was that Animal Kingdom? Is that
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing? So I think, like you say, you're a bit addicted to that at the moment. I think you and the rest of the world. I think two things to come out of this period in history is going to be Tiger King and Animal Crossing. And
Yes.
but it's going to be interesting that there'll be so much research and so many people who've been on these virtual gardening games and virtual kind of, and so it'll be interesting to get that research and get some understanding back about the effect that it has on people. I guess virtual nature versus real nature, and especially when we're kind of cut off from real nature.
Totally. And I think there'll be so much coming out about connection and how gaming can help in isolation. And not just video games, board games as well. I remember reading somewhere that when places started shutting down, one of the things that was selling out in some places were board games. and puzzles, because people wanted to connect with the idea of play. And I guess we're also thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be stuck at home with my family for ages. What can we all do that is fun and distracting? It's interesting as well when Laura and Chealin were talking earlier about connection and ways of engaging with people differently. It made me think my Uma, when she was alive, she discovered iPads in her 80s. And, you know, she was this woman from Holland who had never engaged with technology much before. And suddenly she was playing Words with Friends with people all over the world late at night on her iPad. And I think that was a really nice way of her getting to do her favourite thing, which was crosswords, but also connect with different people. And it meant that, you know, I would often get messages from her at midnight being like, Ashton, why haven't you responded to my word? And I was like, because I'm asleep almost, but she could play with someone overseas who was awake.
Yeah, it's great. It's great seeing stories of people that perhaps haven't accessed, kind of online communication before. That's just from, Skype to Zoom chats to online gaming, engaging with that now. And I think that for some people, that's creating a type of connection that has been missing perhaps from their life and will hopefully continue beyond this kind of period where we're forced to take this up. Yeah. And we'll be back on Tuesday at 4 p.m. with another edition of Mod TV Lounge, where we'll be chatting with Owen Churches about our exhibit It's My Pleasure. In the meantime, if you'd like to see more of what's happening at Mod, head to our website, mod.org.au, or our Facebook and Instagram.
Thanks so much.
Bye for now.
See you next week.